We also have the option to select a storage mode, so we brought in these tables from the SQL Server database in an import mode. This means we've connected to our data source, brought in our data, and now it actually lives in the Power BI file. But there are other methods to bringing in data. There's direct query, which does not actually bring the data in. It just creates these connections and it constantly feeding data back and forth. So basically you're bringing in data as you're querying it and showing it on the screen, but it does not actually live in Power BI. There's also Power BI live connections. So live connections are only available for certain data sources, much like direct query. So backing up a second direct query data source are pretty much only limited to data sets, while live connections are available via Power BI datasets live. You can also create a streaming dataset. Those are pretty specific, but just for information, you can use the import method on all data sources. Direct query is pretty much only for datasets, and live connections are only for a handful of Power BI specific datasets. And you can switch between these storage mode. You can actually go to the modeling view, and if you click on a single table and look at the advanced options, we see that our data mode is set to import. We see that the direct query and dual are grayed out, and dual signifies that the model has of direct query and import methods, but we see that we cannot switch between import and direct query. So actually, let's go ahead and create another connection to our single server database. So I'm going to go back to the SQL Server, and I'm going to throw in my server name again. Let's actually select direct query this time instead of import, and click OK. So we're going to get the same list of tables. Let's bring something a little bit different. Let's bring something like warehouse stock items. That's perfect. So it's giving us a risk that we're bringing in two different data sources, but that's totally fine. It's actually the same database. So we'll create that connection. We see we have this new table, but if we look at this table in the modeling view and click on it, we see that the storage mode is direct query. So you're not able to change it from import to direct query. Or you can do it the opposite way and select if you want to the dual storage mode. So you do have options or whether or not you want to bring in certain tables and certain methods. This is pretty important because let's say that our stock table was much larger than the others. We probably wouldn't want to bring in data directly into the Power BI file. We can bring in the smaller tables, but we probably want to create that direct query connection directly to our bigger tables because that would take up a lot of space and probably slow our reports down.